And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into KNEL's Candidate Forum right here on KNEL 95.3. Well, it's not on 95.3. We're on KNEL TV tonight, and glad to have everyone here. Candidate Forum for the contestants and the candidates in the contested races in McCulloch County. We have 3 contested races in McCulloch County: County Clerk, County Commissioner for Precinct 2, and also Justice of the Peace. And we have those candidates will be with us this evening. Each will have an opportunity to speak. The format for our forum is that we'll go through the order of that they're on the ballot. That means the County Clerk candidates will be first. First one on the ballot speaks first, the second one afterward. And after both candidates have had an opportunity to speak, let us know who they are and why they're running and why they want your vote. If we have questions for them, we'll ask those questions, and we'll ask that we're doing it for written questions. If you have written questions during the time, just bring them over to me on the desk there, and I'll sort through them all to keep them in order and so forth, and then we'll ask the questions after that. And we'll do that for each of the candidates. County Clerk will be first, County Commissioners for Precinct 2 candidates second, and then the Justice of the Peace candidates. But we are glad that you're here, glad that you're showing an interest. We have a good crowd here for tonight's candidate forum, and which is always very gratifying to see a good crowd. People are interested for whatever reason. We're happy that you're here, and we hope that folks who are listening, watching on KNEL TV will be able to enjoy that as well. Tomorrow is the first day of early voting. Early voting goes through the 27th. Early voting location is the County Clerk's office. And then on Election Day, it's the normal locations, and so we'll go through that. So let's get started. We're out here tonight with the candidates for County Clerk for McCulloch County. Carolyn Jones is first.
No, Christine.
Christine Jones. All right. Why did I say Carolyn? I have no idea. No idea whatsoever. Christine is here.
Right here.
Okay, it's your turn.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Christine Jones. I was born to Nathaniel Puddin and Ida Mae Jones and raised right here in McCulloch County. I attended school from elementary through high school, and I raised my children and family here as well. This county is my home. I have been employed by McCulloch County since August of 1996, all that time in the county clerk's office. I bring nearly 3 decades of hands-on experience in county government, and that experience matters because the county clerk's job is not something that you learn overnight. I have served as a county clerk for the past 8 years. During that time, I have worked with multiple county judges and county attorneys, and I have successfully managed the office through periods of transition, including times when I was responsible for handling that office largely on my own. Those experiences required accountability, consistency, and deep understanding of the law and procedures that govern this office. The duties of the county clerk are extensive and complex. They include issuing birth and death certificates, marriage license, both formal and informal. We record abstracts of judgments, federal and state tax liens, and official public records such as deeds, mortgages, liens. Our office also handles criminal misdemeanor court cases, prepares dockets, enter highly sensitive data that requires both state and FBI clearances. We file and manage probate and guardianship cases, each governed by separate laws, rules, and regulation. Guardianship cases in particular require additional background clearances and strict compliance. In addition, we handle brands, assume name certificates, foreclosure postings, commissioner court agendas, posting, and public notices for local entities. I maintain and reconcile 4 separate bank accounts, report monthly to the county treasurer, and attend county court minutes. sometimes up to 4 times a month, where I take detailed notes and prepare official minutes for approval. Once approved, all signed agreements, contracts, resolutions must be recorded and published on the county website. We must also comply with the Texas State Library's record retention, restoration, and destruction schedules, which require constant oversight and strict adherence to the law. And then there are elections, which truly are a responsibility all their own. Elections must be conducted while still maintaining the daily operations of the office, with a staff of just 3 people, myself and 2 deputies. This includes ballot by mail, voting for the elderly, disabled, out-of-town voters, out-of-state voters, our military, overseas voters. They all get a chance to vote a ballot by mail, and they each have their own laws, rules, and regulations that you have to adhere to in order for that ballot and that vote to remain secretive, but in compliance with the law. Elections involve logic and accuracy testings, public testings, equipment maintenance, early voting, mail ballots, provisional ballots, curbside voting, spoiled ballots, voter assistance, and much, much more. Every step includes checks and balances and accountability measures to ensure election integrity. This is only the surface of what the county clerk's office do, but it highlights why experience, knowledge, and dedication matter. I am committed to serve McCulloch County with integrity, transparency, and professionalism, and I respectfully ask for your support. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Catherine Wigington. Come on up.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity for me to be here. My name is Catherine Wigington, and I'm running for McCulloch County Clerk also. I was born and raised here. My family's been part of this community for decades. I graduated from Brady High, and like many young ones, when you graduate, you can't wait to get out of a small town, go to a big town, but life has a way of bringing you right back around full circle. I moved back home to McCulloch County when my children were high school age. I have twin boys that are now full-grown, responsible men, and I couldn't be more proud to be a mama. Throughout my career, I've worked in positions that require accuracy, organization, confidentiality, and strong customer service. Early on, I worked for Electric Co-op. I did the office manager for a satellite office, which meant I was it. I did the disconnects, the connects, the collections, outages, everything that had to do with that. It made me really good at responsibility and problem solving and dealing with the public with all aspects, whether they were moving or coming in. I also worked as a 911 operator for Brady Police Department. That was a stressful job, which that job required calm, quick decision making and ability to handle multiple tasks at one time. That role required strict confidentiality. You see and hear things that you cannot repeat to anybody because of law, and you have to keep concise and accurate records. There's no room for error there. For a number of years, I was also in human resources at Loadcraft, which meant we had anywhere from 100 to 400 employees at a time, and did everything from payroll, workers' comp, insurance, and sometimes you just had to listen because they had problems that they couldn't talk to anybody else about. So confidentiality again. For the past 13 years, I've been an office manager for a granite gravel company, where my responsibilities include accounts receivable, payroll, customer service, of course, all the permits for DOT, MSHA, and anybody that's dealt with MSHA knows that's TCEQ, and all those require filings that have to be accurate and on time, or you can get severely fined. Alongside with my professional experience, I've stayed active and involved in our community. I've served many years in the Brady Chamber of Commerce, and right now I'm honored to be their president. I've also served as vice president and treasurer. I've served on the board for the Brady Golf Association and Crime Stoppers. And I want to be your county clerk because it truly fits who I already am. Throughout my career, I've been a person with people relied on to handle sensitive information, follow the law, meet the deadlines, and do things the right way. When I look at the responsibilities of the county clerk, I realize this position aligns perfectly with my experiences, my temperament, and my values. This isn't about politics for me, it's about service. If elected, my focus will be on dependable service, accuracy, and clear communications. I want people to leave the clerk's office with confidence that their business was handled correctly and respectfully. Again, thank you for the opportunity for me to speak tonight, and I would love to have your support and your vote come the primary, March the 3rd, and look forward to answering any questions. Thank you.
Well, as it turned out, don't have any questions for the county clerk folks, so everybody seems to be satisfied with where they're at. So we appreciate your comments, and if somebody has any questions later, I'm over here. You can hand them to me, but let's move on. The county commissioner for Precinct 2. First one on the ballot is Day Locklear. So Day, come on up.
Good evening. It's good to see a big crowd tonight, I'll tell you that much. I'm Day Locklear. I'm on the ballot for County Commissioner Precinct 2. First, I want to thank Mr. Ferris and KNL for hosting this candidate forum. By having this forum, we're able to reach out to a larger audience to inform McCulloch County residents and property owners the candidate's priorities and why we're running for office. I have a brief history about myself. A lot of people know me and some of you don't. But I want to give a brief history of my work experience. And I worked for Ogilvy Norton or Texas Mining for 30 years, where I was a quality assurance manager, sales coordinator, sales manager, and a regional sales manager. After my departure, I'd already had a job with BASF when I left Ogilvy Norton, the chemical company, where we did a new startup company out in Sanders, Arizona. And I was in the major part of the construction and implementation of the quality control system out there. So I was the sales and service manager for the proppants division. I managed all shipments by truck and rail. We had about a 500-car rail car fleet, which I had to track every day. Plus, I was an interim plant manager for a short period of time. Then, when I left BASF, I went to Southern Precision Sands, which is a division of Frac Tech Services, where I was a sales manager, and then after a few months I became the manager of quality and technology. Then we were purchased by Fairmount Minerals, which later became Fairmount Central, where I was the regional quality manager for Texas, Illinois, and Wisconsin. I was the resin plant manager. I was the quarry and blasting manager. I'm current VP of the Voca Community Association, past director and VP and president of the McCulloch County Chamber of Commerce. I study classes in all-well servicing and workover. I'm a representative on the SimLab Conductivity and Permeability Consortium for hydrocarbon proppants. During my time as a technology manager, I developed and tested new oil and gas well proppants, natural sands, med-made proppants, glass beads, etc., and resin-coated proppants. I'm an ISO Quality Systems lead auditor. Got that out. And I was a representation on the ISO proppant testing group and API proppant testing group for many years. And ISO is the International Organization of Standardization. And I'm a member of the American Petroleum Institute, and I was a county liaison between the Property Owners Association and Aransas County. Okay, the reason I'm running for the county commissioner because I've seen firsthand things in Precinct 2 needing to be improved. I was encouraged by several people in McCullough County to run. Our residents deserve transparency, fairness, and responsible leadership. This race isn't about a personal attack. It's about making sure the community moves forward. If I'm voted in as County Commissioner Precinct 2, I'll be a person that will listen to all of McCullough County. People's voices deserve to be heard. People come first. I believe that managing taxpayer money is a top priority and keeping taxes as low as possible. Keeping taxes as low as possible while delivering quality service is not an option, but essential. I will treat every tax dollar with respect. And quality budget keeping is a must. I'm a taxpayer just like you. I will not ask taxpayers for more tax dollars than that are needed. No wasteful spending. Roads are one of the big issues and a big topic, when you talk to the residents. So quality road work needs to be done the first time. It saves our tax money and work over hours. Work over hours are costly and expensive and causes a lot of unnecessary work. And it hurts every taxpayer. And excellent record keeping is a must. I keep a daily record of everybody I talk to. I've been doing it for almost 50 years. So if I talk to somebody, I'll make a note. I can go back to that day and know exactly who I talked to and the time. I will not do my job for personal gain. I'm a problem solver, and McCullough County deserves someone that serves the people and doesn't make decisions for their benefit. A commissioner must follow the local government code set forth by the Texas legislature. And public office is about honesty, integrity, accountability for every family in McCullough County. If you want change, vote for me. Vote for leadership that listens. I'm Dave Locklear, and I'd be honored to be your next County Commissioner of Precinct 2. Thank you for your support.
Next, County Commissioner for Precinct 2, Randy Deans.
Thank you for everybody attending tonight. It's good to see an interest out in our community for everything. I'm Randy Deans. I've been the current County Commissioner in Precinct 2 since 2019. I was raised here in the county, been in VOCA most of my life. I've stepped out a time or two and done different lines of work all through the years. Out of high school, I helped anywhere from help building the middle school in Brady to being an insurance adjuster. I've done different lines of work everywhere. I got into the sand plants in about 2004. I ended up going in, done all aspects of the sand plant. Stayed in there about 12 years. When I came out, I was a manager for a rail yard. But luckily, whenever I got out and we knew the rail was coming to an end, I pursued another job, and then we had multiple sand plants and job losses in the county everywhere. It was pretty hard on the taxpayers and hard on the tax dollar when all that went out. I decided to run and sign up for County Commissioner in 2018, and of course we had a lot of heavy rainfall and everything in 2018. The first few months of my 2019, whenever I came in as commissioner, seemed like it was going to be, not a bad gig, but then we got FEMA involved. FEMA was very vague and everything coming in 2019, very difficult to understand, and a lot of process to be done there. I have had experience with FEMA. We're back in the FEMA since the July rains and have a lot of damage to our roads and everything, and it's going to be a long road to hoe, but I think we can get it done. As part of my, I've dealt with tax abatements with the wind turbines that we weren't getting, we had a tax abatement on, and we had to battle with that and got back over $2 million back in our county that we were without. I've been on the board wearing many different hats with the railroad coming back. I've been on the railroad board. I do see the railroad probably coming back into our county this year. They've already started on the other end, and I do believe that they're going to come back. I think it's going to help our community and our taxpayers and add to opportunities for different things to come to Brady. and I firmly believe it's going to be here. I've talked with some individuals about I-14. I do know some people that are actually starting to put in bids for the process of I-14 coming through our county. That's in our future. I think it's very important to start thinking about some of these futuristic things coming through our community. But if you'll go between San Saba and Goldthwaite, they're already widening the road for I-14. It's very interesting to see some of these things develop. The floods of July 4th was very detrimental, especially in our southern part of the county. I know a lot of people have seen the debris trucks around. I know some people have had those debris trucks dusting them out down their roads. I'm sorry. It added a lot to cleaning that riverbed up, not only for us and around here, but everyone downstream too. It's wrapping up and it should be good. Something else I'd like to see in the future, if I'm your commissioner, would be for the county and the city to work together a little bit better than what we do now. We don't work together very well, and I think there are some things that we could do to lighten the financial burden on everybody in the community, whether you're city or county or just a taxpayer. There are some things that I think we can implement by working together and sitting down together and trying to do some workshops together to see what we can do. I think that is important, and I think it's the way things should be done. I think there's opportunities there that we haven't done. I've done other things. I'm working on right now getting 2.1 miles of road paved in our county. That's a county dirt road as it is, to help with an industrial plant here. And that's over $300,000 that they're willing to pay for. And by working together with them, it's taken 3 or 4 years to kind of get the ball rolling, but that's in the horizon. Things that I've accomplished, and it's not done yet, but I think it's going to be done. And I'm able to work with people. Whether you're a Democrat, Republican, whatever, I work for you. And whether you're in my precinct or not, I work for you as a taxpayer. You can give me a call. I've always answered my phone, no matter what. There's so many different things to talk about, so many things that no one sees in the commissioner line, that unless you've been in that position, there's so much more that's involved that no one sees. And if you're not in the courts and you're not watching the meetings, there's a lot to the deal. It's a big joke in all these conferences everywhere. Did you know what you were getting into when you got in this? And it's just, everybody has to laugh. So there's so much to it. It's a difficult job, but I am willing to sign up for 4 more years and serve all you taxpayers as a whole, the whole county. But I'd appreciate all of the ones from Precinct 2 to go vote for me. Thank you.
Well, we do have questions for the county commissioners candidates, as you would not be surprised. I think we'll start with the one that is sort of basic question, and it'd be for both of you. And that is basically, what is the one challenge or the one problem that you see in the precinct, and how do you plan on taking care of that particular issue? Dave?
Speak up.
Come on up. You want me to repeat it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What is the one challenge or problem that you see in the precinct, and how do you plan to take care of that issue?
Well, one of the biggest issues we have is with, like Randy said, the roads are getting repaired, which we can kind of skip over the road. That's one of the big major issues they've been talking to me about lately. But some of the other issues are in between the EMS and fire department and the county, which that's a learning process. And, I don't vote on anything unless I have all the facts and the dollar amounts. And so that's about all I know on that one.
Okay, that's fine. Randy, you want the same question? What's the one challenge, one problem that you would like to?
The one challenge or one problem?
Yeah, that you see as, one.
There's many. And I don't know which one to choose from because I can think of 8 right off the top of my head. So probably within our precincts, in my precinct and some of the other precincts, our budgets, got to divide it up in different line items, but we only get $20,000 a year for material, road surface. And if that one truckload takes 100 feet of road surface to put down at $350 a truckload, whether you've got 40 miles or 100 miles, $20,000. And I think some of the other precincts, one, and maybe some of the others, they may be about $30,000 for material, but it's low. So we're putting bubble gum and Band-Aids on our county roads for emergency response, and all of our taxpayers done every one of them. And when we have weather events like we've had, it's worth to pursue some of the headache and paperwork and everything with FEMA, to pursue that, to try to do what we can, because they depleted heavily through the July 4th rains. But having short budgets like that, and we're lowering the taxes every year for the last 5 years, it's a struggle, and a lot of people don't understand whenever they come in and that dirt road's been there for 100 years, 70 years, and then, well, we want it paved. Well, for material funds in my item, it's $20,000 a year. So it makes things a little bit difficult.
Next one's for you.
Okay?
As the incumbent, it's no surprise you get more.
Okay.
Okay? The question is, what was the rationale in voting for the pay raises for yourself the last 2 years despite public outcry?
If you're going to take a job and you're expecting full rates or a full salary, if you get paid $7,000 a year to show up to 2 meetings a month, that's all you're going to get. When I bring to the table, I mean, I feel like I give it a 40 hours a week, whether I'm driving a truck or a loader, motor grader, whatever it is out in the county, I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to do, and I wish that sitting on some of that equipment on our roads was a big part of the job, but it's not. There's a lot of homework to do, a lot of reading to do. There's so much more to the job that no one really understands or sees until you've been in that position. But I feel like I earn my salary, and whenever it is low and lower than your road hand, it's better to be a road hand than it is to be a commissioner that's calling all the shots. And anyone that's been in this position, you understand the stress and the time and the efforts, whether it's Sunday night at dinner, I'll answer the phone if somebody calls. I've gone out at 9 o'clock at night because there's a problem and a tree laying on the road and so-and-so almost hit it, and I'm going out there to go take care of it. But I just feel like I've earned my money and I've earned my salary, and for the salaries to stay up where they are, everybody's got to, there was a big gap between the commissioners and some of the other elected officials years ago, and as you give a 3% raise, those numbers get higher and the commissioners are still trailing a long ways down. So I just felt like we, most of us and all of us agreed that we earn our money. And that can be a debate either way, but if you're getting a full salary, you should be obligated and everything to be there all the time and put in your time.
Mr. Locklear? Do you agree?
Do you agree? The question is, do you agree with giving the commissioners giving themselves a raise?
Oh, no.
No. The answer is no. Okay. Come on up.
Yeah, I believe that the county should have a voice in the pay raise. I wouldn't vote, I've never given myself a raise in my positions. I've given my employees raises, and my bosses have gave me raises, but I've never, been involved in my own pay raise situation. So I just believe that it ought to become a county-wide vote for any, elected office pay raises for the county commissioners. That's it. Thank you.
Here, I'll ask you the next one.
So don't run off. Would you support a policy requiring each precinct?
Yeah, I believe in, all the other places I worked at, we did inventories daily. It didn't matter if it was our sand silos and our, oil. Same thing should, go with all the tools, equipment, and so I think there should be, an audit and a report filled out, monthly on every piece of equipment you have there, your tools, your fuel, run smoothly.
Mr. Deans? Basically the same question.
You support a policy requiring each precinct to do a full inventory, and would you support an independent audit or public report on things like fuel usage?
Sure. There should be, we have a small inventory every year of equipment and basic things. When I came into office in 2019, I pulled all the tools and everything out on the table. I know what used to be there. I worked for the county in '01. I pulled everything out. We had a few screwdrivers that came like out of grandma's drawer in the kitchen. A couple old pliers, and I probably had 6 5/8 wrenches that are seldom used, and I didn't have any 15/16 or 7/8 or your common wrenches that are normally used. I didn't have a floor jack in the shop, didn't have a chain to tie anything down with or pull anything out with, had very little in inventory. So a more thorough inventory is not, to make it a policy, is not a problem.
The next one for you also.
This one is specifically for you. Why does the commissioner keep county equipment at his residence? Is this in keeping with policy? Does that not make it more inconvenient for county employees?
I don't keep anything but a vehicle at my house. That vehicle is a non-desirable vehicle to go up and down the road with. I use it a few days a week because I do receive a stipend for my own vehicle, and if I'm in town or whatever I'm doing with my own vehicle, and I decide to go to Walmart and get a jug of milk or stop at the feed store while I'm in town before I go back, I'm not going to do that in a county vehicle. I did contact Texas Association of Counties, our legal advisory outside the county, to see if that was okay or not, and they said yes, it's commonly practiced all the time.
You have an opinion?
On commissioners using equipment?
Lynn, can I just ask a question?
Write it down and give it to me.
Yeah, I think all county equipment ought to be left in place either at the county precinct barn, or we got 14 acres, we got on 14 acres out on 190, yard there, but, it's, if you use it for your personal use, or it ought to be available where the county employee can actually access that vehicle and, not have to use his own or whatever, But, I've always been against taking company vehicles home unless they're issued to you by your company and you pay taxes on that vehicle for its usage. But I think they ought to stay at the location.
Okay.
Going back to Mr. Deans, I'll start with you on this. FEMA's been doing all the work here on all the cleanup after the San Saba River, along the San Saba River. In the process, they've destroyed a lot of county roads, or the question alleges that they've destroyed a lot of county roads, particularly 212. And the gist of the question is FEMA going to reimburse the county for any of the cost for these damages that we've incurred? As they've now moved on, so what's the outlook for that?
In particular, County Road 212 was heavily damaged during the floods of July 4th. They were damaged in June, and it wasn't 2 weeks later they were damaged again on July 4th. The good part about getting these debris trucks in and out, none of the FEMA work has started. Why has none of the FEMA work started? We're just now starting to get some of the paperwork and scopes of work for these FEMA roads back from FEMA. I think I'm up to 3 now. And so without that scope of work, FEMA's going to pay 75%, with 25% comes from the county. It doesn't come like as a lump sum. We do in-kind work with our equipment, labor, and et cetera. And normally, from previous experience, you can come up with that 25% by doing that, grade and shape and whatever it may be. So the road's been damaged. FEMA is being processed, and the FEMA work will start. But the good part about that, like I said, the debris trucks are in and out. I know they cause damage. We're chasing some of the potholes. They've helped a little bit with a little bit of material to help come along the way. I said, hey, y'all's trucks caused a blowout right here. And they brought me a truckload of material and says, here, can you go put it out? Not a problem. But the roads were integrity is already damaged from all the floods of July 4th. And we're hoping to shape that back up, and then when we hit the real bad places with the FEMA, working together with FEMA, we should recover our roads to hopefully get them as they were prior to July 4th.
Well, I'll go ahead and ask you the next one as well. And the question is, how would you prepare a new employee for grading Long Valley Lane? Is Long Valley Lane pretty bad?
It's a long road.
It's a long road, okay. So,
Long Valley Lane is known as County Road 208, which is 10 miles long. 212 tees into 208, and it's 5 miles long. And when I came into office, I figured out in an 8-hour day, that's what we work, that we can grade about 5 miles a day and sweep the driveways. Some roads, a little bit more difficult because it's got more driveways. So, how would I train a new employee to do that? With my knowledge and background of a motor grader, I've trained other employees. My employee, July 4th, we scheduled him a small surgery, and he was out for over 8 weeks right after July 4th. So who was trying to clear the roads and be out there and do what we could do when we could do it? It was so muddy. Four-wheel drive pickups were having a hard time, but we got a little break in things, and I was on the motor grader trying to coordinate people calling me, need me over here, need me reporting this and that. Back and forth getting FEMA online, TDEM, Texas Department of Emergency Management. It was a train wreck for, I know, past Labor Day. I was about to pull my hair out. So as far as training these people, we can send them to TxDOT schools if they need some more help. But getting them on a machine on a private property like our big yard on 190, getting them familiar with it, I think most people can be trained if they got a little bit of want to. So training somebody on that would not be the problem.
you have no opinion? Okay. The question is, how is fuel cost handled by commissioners? Just general question.
Fuel costs are in your line item budget. There's several line items, whether it's repairs, fuel, material, etc. And through the budget process, starting in March, which is right around the corner, your budget and your line items, you do a guesstimation. Hopefully, fuel doesn't go up to $4 a gallon or something like that, which I've experienced that too. But I have always, it's in that budget, and everybody votes on that budget, and that's where your fuel costs come from.
Okay. All right. Just a couple of more questions for the both of you. One of them would be, how will you address conflict in the Commissioner's Court? How do you deal with conflict in the court?
Well, to start with, there shouldn't be, is it physical contact? Or just words? Yeah, you can have, conflict, there's conflicts, everybody has conflicts on different opinions. But, they have to be resolved, and, if it's a major conflict, you just carry it over to the next Commissioner's Court meetings. But, there's some conflicts, if it gets out of hand, that's why the sheriff's there. So that's it. That's all I know.
That's why the sheriff is always at all the meetings, right?
In Commissioner's Court, there's conflicts. That's why we have a government body of 5 people, and if it's a 3-2 vote or unanimous vote 5-5, you're going to have the differences, and that's okay. At the end of the day, there shouldn't be that much conflict. At the end of the day, whether you vote all the same or you vote in differences, that's business, and that's, you're going by the facts presented. I have had a different opinion later on after voting one way or having a conflict in one way by getting more information or retaining more information, because you go in there Monday morning and this is what we got. You might get your packet on Thursday afternoon or Friday afternoon. That's why they did change the laws. Now we're getting our packets on Wednesday, and it's a bigger gap there to review some of that stuff, and you can gain more facts and this and that. But as far as big conflicts in there, yeah, the sheriff's in there. He will take care of it. He's got his speed dial. I have been in uncomfortable situations, and everybody's red in the face, but you ought to be able to overcome that and your temper, and our county judge is good at saying breathe, it's okay. And he has reined everything in there, and I have appreciated that to stay on the subject, and we need to vote one way or the other. And I'm a firm believer, we may or may not agree on everything, but it's possible if you talk about it in a sensible manner that you can come to an agreement, or you can agree, but let's not be mad at each other.
All right, here's the last one. And it's a question for both of you. And that's, what is your position on data centers and battery energy surplus?
Yeah, I'm against both of them. I don't think we need the data centers in McCullough County, and we sure don't need the battery storage systems here either. Because, I mean, I see what they're doing to some other counties, and I think they're getting so many of these things, taking up so much water and electricity. It's just, it's getting out of hand. I think there's going to be so many of them that the people that are invested in them, which, you know, a lot of the investors are from Canada and other countries, are going to go down. People are going to lose a lot of money on them. And, you know, I'm not for them at all. So that's my opinion on that.
Thank you.
I think there's a lot of studying to do on the data centers. I do believe in some things of the future that we're going to have to do some things. Running a 750-watt transmission line down our San Saba River, I think there's a better alternative there. If we have to have it, there are certain places that we should establish that. The data centers, there's still a lot of research to be done there. The battery centers, prime example, I studied the data centers and went over to Mason County. And they have a large battery operation there, and I want to say it was 60-something battery stations right there on the southern part of the city limits and the school of Mason. If you have one small battery center catch on fire, you're supposed to evacuate at least 1.5 miles. And this is right in the edge of the city limits. I mean, you go over a hill of Mason, and there it is. So 60-something batteries right there on our, you know, we get a general southern wind. Not good, not a good decision. I really am against a lot of these battery stations. I think there's better ways. There's better fire suppression. There's no fire suppression that's suitable for any of these. They claim it's this, that, and the other. But the fire suppression and to get it extinguished without having all that smoke in there for all those citizens, there's no way these fire departments can even put it out or even think about it, much less the evacuation for entire Mason County. And I know there's other cities and counties that are having the same issues, and I'm against them right now until we have some better thinking and better planning on all of it.
Well, that wraps up the questions for the county commissioners candidates, Mr. Deans and Mr. Locklear. Appreciate that. One more, and that is for Justice of the Peace. First on the ballot is Dave Lewis, right? Yes, sir. Dave?
Good evening. As an ex-history teacher and government teacher, I just cannot tell you how wonderful it is to see all of you here. It just gladdens my heart to know that this is part of the process that goes on. I'm Dave Lewis. I'm running for Justice of the Peace. I've been in education for the past 27 years. 14 of them have been in an administrative role, either a principal or a superintendent. I do believe that in that role, it has prepared me for another adventure, and that would be the Justice of the Peace. You talk a lot about law. That's, as an administrator, that's a lot of what I do in schools. We have school law, but inside that there's the SPED law, there's funding law, there's UIL regulations, and I've been involved in some capacity with all the changing parts. Every 2 years, teachers in Texas cringe because our lawmakers go and change things, and as a superintendent, it's my job to lead the district in those law changes. In my role also, I have to enforce policies, whether those are local or dictated by the state or federal, right? There has to be fairness, there has to be accountability in school districts, and then a large part of my job, I hate to say it, is mediating disputes. And so I think that all ties into the role of being a justice of the peace. One of the questions that I'm going to ask myself while I'm up here is, I've never done this. Why should voters vote for me? And I can just tell you, I've got it written down right here. Once again, I've interpreted laws. That's been part of it. But it's not only the disputes, it's understanding the sides of a dispute and being able to make a decision that protects rights, but at the same time follows laws. And there's a thin line there. Sometimes, when it comes to kids and school districts and making those decisions, it rips a little here. Can't do that. That's not something that can take place. It has to be about individual rights and the law itself. I didn't tell you a little bit about myself. I'm sorry. Married to Christy Lewis. I have 2 daughters. One goes to Tech. The other one goes to Angelo State. Been in McCulloch County as soon as I could get here. Our first adventure was in 2004. Probably taught a lot of your kids in PE or grandkids. Yeah, Tristan, I had Tristan in PE. Been around Brady. Had to make some life changes that took me out of Brady for a little while, but we're here and we're not going anywhere. I think that another thing that I've really learned as a superintendent in my role is to have others to rely on. And what I mean by that is there's a network of superintendents, and if I don't know something, I'm going to go learn it. I'm a quick learn. When I got into teaching, I didn't know how to be a teacher, but I learned. When I became a principal, I didn't know what I was doing as a principal. It's the same thing as a superintendent. But relying on others really helps me develop myself, whether that's going and visiting other justice of the peace or taking all the classes I can take or getting on the horn with somebody and asking, how are you doing this and how does that go? So anyhow, Dave Lewis, Justice of the Peace, I appreciate your vote and thank you so much for being here tonight. I just wish we had some high schoolers here that could see this. So thank you.
All right, our other candidate, Maggie Sawyer. Maggie?
Good evening. I'm honored that you're all here. My husband told me to speak up like I'm talking to him at home because he can't hear. So my name is Maggie Sawyer, and I'm currently your sitting Justice of the Peace here in McCulloch County. I was appointed in 2013, so I've been doing this for 13 years. Prior to that, I worked with Child Protective Services for 23 years. Simultaneously, I was finishing my degree, and I participated in the Partners of Education through the Texas Department of Public Safety Criminal Justice Program. And I've got my best cheerleader in the audience over there. We've been together for 37 years, and out of that union, the best blessing is our grandchildren, Harrison Ford and Henry Ike. Thank you, Lynn, because they're watching in Florida. And so my favorite passions are music, golf, and growing tomatoes, all of which occupy my off time, spend my money on it. It's good at some, not good at some of it. So I was here earlier, and I was told that not everybody knows what the Justice of the Peace does in 2026. So I thought I'd rewrite my little thing and give you a little bit of a heads up on that. So the Justice of the Peace Office is the most approachable court by regular citizens. Most people that come into my court are pro se, or other words, self-representing themselves without an attorney. And so as your justice of the peace, it's very important that you have all the characteristics of fairness, firmness, and commitment to your community. Litigants usually don't know the rules of civil procedure or the Texas statutes or the laws that apply to our court. And so when an attorney does appear with maybe one side, it's important that the facts are still the facts, even when an attorney represents one side. No party needs to be treated different than the other, just because they don't have an attorney representing them. But the most important thing about being the justice of the peace is knowing your community. You need to know people's marriages, people's children, people's failures, people's successes. You need to know your population's demographics. You need to know we're a poverty area. You need to know the education level of the people coming into your court. And only with this knowledge will you know how to do this job well. The justice of the peace job is not for praise or approval. It's because justice depends on it, and movement needs to be made in whatever situation those people are in. Ruling intelligently, objectively, and based on the facts of the case, not fear or favor to either party. And you have to stick around for the hard things. This is not easy. And you still have to be humble and kind to your people. So we do evictions, we do small claims, we do civil cases with a jurisdiction up to $20,000. We do inquest. Another word for that is establishing the cause and manner of death for unattended deaths. We do administrative hearings, we do tow hearings, we do concealed handgun revocations, we do driver's license revocations, we do truancy hearings, and we go to the jail every single day. We issue warrants, we do dispositions of stolen property, we sign blood warrants. We are a non-refusal county, in case you don't know, and so you might see me at the hospital, you might see Judge Trull at the hospital signing a blood warrant in the middle of the night if someone is allegedly intoxicated. And so during my professional journey, I had a visit with Lynn, and this is the hardest part, telling y'all about myself. So I've gained a mass experience in leadership. I'm a 2020 alum from the Texas Association of Counties Leadership 254 Academy. I'm a current presidential appointee to the Leadership Advisory Selection Committee. I've served as a mentor judge for the Texas State Commission on Judicial Conduct, and I've assisted other judges improving their skills in the judiciary. In October of 2019 and 2023, I was appointed by Chief Justice Heck, the Chief Justice of the Texas Supreme Court, to the Texas Judicial Council, and I'm kind of proud of that because for a term there, I was the only non-attorney on that committee, so I'm kind of proud of that. And so I'm currently serving on the Texas Justice Court Center's Personnel Committee, and at times when I teach, I'm on the faculty. And so I believe everybody should have the opportunity to be living their best life, laugh a lot, and give 110%. So some of the improvements that we've done since I've taken office, we're open during the lunch hour. We take payment plan options because we are a poverty town. Not everybody can pay $400 or $300 for their fine. We take the payment plan. And we offer community service in lieu of money. We do admittance into treatment and rehab facilities, and we waive fines and charges sometimes because if someone has a substance abuse problem, we're going to give them a shot to get their life back together. We have flexible work hours. I have staff that go to Walmart and pick up direct cash. Not every office does that. We are very flexible to our community. We do a warrant roundup. I hope nobody here owes an outstanding fine because we have a subcontractor that gets all the list of all our outstanding fines and fees, and they start texting. Texting is a new thing. They used to send a letter and let you know, we will pick you up at work. Come pay your fine. So we also have a call center that works during the weekends and after hours when we're not there. And we also have currently started doing Zoom pleas for minors so they don't have to come into the courtroom, so I can just Zoom them and their parents are there with them. And so one of the things that happened was COVID-19. And we haven't really come back from that. But one of the things that I would like for y'all to know is Chief Justice Heck said, who is the hardest working court level in the state of Texas? The Justice of the Peace. Let's let them figure out, let's make a workforce together, or a task force, and see how we're going to continue to have court when everything is shut down. And so I'm proud to say that we had the big sandwich sign out front that said honk, and we'll mask up and we'll go take your plea. We will take your funds. We did, the DPS did no signature on tickets during that time. They weren't even getting you to sign, so there was no contact. And so we did a lot of things. We did a drop box that's out there. You just drop it off. So we're kind of proud of that too, that we worked through that. We didn't get behind on our docket. We stayed current. And so I'm not done. I have lots of goals. But so on the state level, I have 2 more years left with the Judicial Council. So while I'm still there, a couple of things that we're pushing for. AI. AI is an amazing tool, but it also is causing havoc for courts because exhibits now can be copied. Charlotte's looking at me like, it can happen. And so that's one of the committees that the Technology Committee this year is going to work on. How are we going to start validating or verifying these exhibits if someone is showing a bill of sale or some testimony? It is going to be a big deal as to what is real and what is AI composed. So statewide, I'm going to push for that. The second thing is, if you are the county judge and you have a Spanish-speaking litigant, the Office of Court Administration that provides our interpreters has usually 3 interpreters on duty. And you have to call to get on the calendar to have that Spanish-speaking person available for that defendant. And so, that makes it hard for the rest of the courts because we hold court at 9 and 10 o'clock. Other slots are available, maybe 3 o'clock, maybe 8 o'clock. So one of the things statewide that we're working for that I'm going to help try to push is lowering the difficulty of certification so that we have more interpreters available. That test is very, very hard. Also, court reporters. We have a shortage on court reporters. They want the courts, and the high courts should not go to recorded tape recorders. They need court reporters, and there's a shortage. One of the solutions for that is that we're going to advocate for waiving their tuition to become a court reporter, and we might draw in some more people to be court reporters. That's on the state level. Back to Brady, McCulloch County. I want to work on the interstate delinquency of payments. When we have a lot of people driving through from Louisiana and then we never see them again, and they say they're not coming back. We have a thing called an interstate compact, and that's where certain states talk to each other, but not all states talk to each other. We need to figure out a way to make all states talk to each other because we like our money. You know, we need our money. Locally, we have a lot of mental health issues. We have a crisis, unfortunately. We need a system to locally track and keep our local mental health defendants out of jail and into hospitals. And then after they're out of the hospital, a local support system to keep them out of jail. Mental health does not belong in the jail. That's something locally. Unfortunately, a lot of people take their lives in this community. I see every single one of them. It's a traumatic experience for us. It's a traumatic experience for the families. If you've talked to me in depth about anything, I say there are other states that call suicide what it really is. It's a medical condition. And Texas needs to quit calling it suicide and having it a stigma for the family and how we handle it as a community. And so I have a passion that we need to work on that, even if it's just community-wide, that we embrace the mental health that we see. We see it. It's here. In closing, I just want to say I've lived here 40 years. No matter what, I've showed up for you guys. I work hard. I've never done anything half-heartedly. Leadership is hard. It's really hard. But people matter to me. Families matter to me. So I'm just giving back to this community what this community has given my children and my husband. Y'all, you've been good to my family, so I'm here. I promised in 2013 that I would be a full-time JP. You can do this 20 hours or be a realtor and do something else, but when I talk to the taxpayers, when I'm block walking, they tell me about 4 things that they really want. Number 1, low taxes. Number 2, what the heck with our roads? They want the quality of our roads to be addressed. Number 3, they're like, what the heck with the numbering of the private roads? They're confused with the numbering of how the private roads, they're all over the place. The 300s are not in precinct 3 and the 200s are not. It's just kind of you pick your number. So people ask me that. But the most important thing is they want the elected officials to be full-time employees. They do not want you to have this a job because you need insurance. They don't want it because you need Social Security quarters. They don't want you to have this because you need a salary. I don't do it for the accolades. You heard I have a lot of accolades. I didn't do this for the accolades or the awards. County government is a calling. You have to want to do it, and it's a passion. It doesn't pay that great, but you have to. So again, I'm asking for your vote. I think I've talked a lot, but thank you.
Okay, got a few questions. I'll start with you, Dave. Sure. I got 3 specific questions for you. One is, do you know JP is on call 24 hours a day?
Yes.
Holidays, Sundays, not off on county or holidays. What is your plan for coverage if you want to leave to go out of town or if you're sick? And then the third one, 3-part, are you retiring?
Yes, I am retiring. December is my retirement time. Golly, you gave me 3. Let's see, what are the other 2?
The other 2 that you know that it's on call.
Oh, yeah, 24/7. I was a superintendent 24/7. Anytime my kids are gone, I work for a school district, and we played Anthony, 5-hour trip for our kids, and I did not go to bed until 3:30 in the morning. I drove there, but I waited till our kids got home safe. I get 24/7. My phone rings all the time. Yes, JP, superintendent, I expect that. That's part of the challenge that I look forward to.
The other part of that was, do you have a plan for coverage, when you're not there?
Yes, so I have met with JP Spoontz in Concho County. We run truancy through Concho County, and so I've met with him and talked, and I know that Maggie and him are pretty close. They do a lot of coverage for each other's counties, so I know that that's part of it, and that network of JPs is what I was talking about, to be able to do something like that.
Okay. Well, wait a minute. Let me ask, while you're here,
Okay.
Got a question for both of you, and you can start.
Okay.
How do you feel the Office of Justice of the Peace can improve? Or do you have any plans for next term?
Improvement for justice of the peace. I think the biggest thing that I have to overcome is procedural. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Procedural, no. It's procedural for me. I'm not quite sure about how the procedural stuff works. And I know that from my experience, communication is key no matter what you do in life. And so I think that, Ms. Sawyer touched on this a little bit, being able to educate people when they come into the courtroom. I think that that's something big that people need to know. And so I think that that's probably one of the biggest things that I'll be good at, because I'm a talker, and yeah, so.
Okay. Maggie?
What was the question?
The question was, no, here it is. How do you feel the Office of the Justice of the Peace could improve, or do you have any specific plans for next term?
Oh, yeah, I have lots of plans. I laid out my plans earlier because I'm taking advantage of being on these state boards, and that's for all JPs, over 800 JPs in the state. And if we can all be uniform and work together like that, that's great. But locally, I talked about those, the interstate compact, the mental health. When I took office, my staff, we have monthly meetings, if not weekly meetings, and they're like, what's this? I said, well, this is how we're going to get better. We're going to get better like this. We're going to get you the training that you want, and we're going to, your staff is a reflection of me. And so we need to get everybody trained. We need to have those discussions of what you're carrying into the office and how we're going to work better with the other offices. We communicate all the time, because if that communication stops, I can go over there to the jail and Frank is like, maybe you should wait a little bit. There is a lot of communication. If you're going to make it work right, there is a lot of communication that needs to happen. Charla, she is the best emailer, so it's just keeping open communication, the goals that I had set before, and I think we're on a good roll right now.
Oh, wait a minute. You can have the next one.
Okay.
The last legislative session, Governor Abbott had bail reform at the top of the list, and it passed. How do you plan to implement Senate Bill 9 for bail reform?
Michelle's looking at me like, Charla's looking at me. So if you don't know, back in 2021, Senate Bill 6, the Damon Allen bill passed first. And so we've been doing that now for about 5 years. Damon Allen was a trooper that was killed by a man that was out on bond from another county. So Governor Abbott said, we're going to stop that. But what happens is when you try to change the law, and bondsmen that's their bread and butter, getting people out of jail, twisting that around where you keep more high-end violent offenders in jail and lower offenders are eligible for personal bond, it kind of throws everybody in a tizzy. So we have been doing that. We have a public reporting system in place where I can communicate. If someone was arrested last night, someone in Mason County, they've entered that into the public reporting system. In the morning before I go magistrate, I go on there. I can see their criminal history. I can see, oh, this person doesn't get a low bond, or this person doesn't get a bond, because Senate Bill 9 just gave us the authority to no bond, which those are for those 6 violent offenses, and that's a good thing. Senator Joan Huffman pushed that. Governor Abbott passed that really quickly. And so what we're doing is we're keeping the more violent offenders off of the street. But there are all kinds of tools that the Court of Administration is helping us with, and I've been doing it for 5 years.
Dave, you have an opinion, a response?
Once again, I think it's about communication, whether it's from county to county. But, I mean, part of the job is to protect, right? And so those offenders like that, no, you don't bond them out. Sorry. So, yeah.
And got the last one.
Okay.
I'll give you a shot at it first. Can you explain how you think the budgeting works for the JP's office?
How does, for the county budgeting for the JP's office?
I worked with a $14 million budget in Crane. It was 2.4 out at Rochelle. It's a matter of, this is your budget, and this is the lines you have to stay in, whether it's a county commissioner, line items, right? The county sets it, and you got to stay within those guidelines. I mean, it's numbers. Balance your checkbook.
Maggie, can you explain county budgeting?
So I can tell you, we don't have a $14 million budget with McCullough County. So what happens is for all the fines, every fine that you pay in justice court and county court and district court, there is a fines and fee, a receipt. And those are regulated by what goes to the state, what gets to stay locally. And so I have a great thing called a technology fund that lets me purchase all my technology out of this fund where we've taken $2 and $2 and $2, and so it's accumulated. So what I try to do is keep that off of my regular budget so that the commissioners and the county judge, we have a very tight budget in JP Court. We try to self-maintain ourselves. We have courthouse security that brings in a lot of money, and that's just not, we bring some of it in. We've brought most of it in before district court, and I think county court eventually kind of trickled in where they could collect it as well. So we've got a chunk of money in there, and so what that does is it gives us the ability to have bailiffs, the metal detector, and so each one of those things, we try to use those little $2, $1 things to not have to pull from our main budget. And here's the thing with our county judge. If you go talk, he starts in July. He starts July, August, September, October. He starts 4 months. And we get this primer of, this is what you want. I go talk to him right away. I go talk to the commissioners right away. And I pretty much know, they know, and I know what they're going to give me and what I'm going to ask for. And so I'm kind of like a teacher. I'm going to ask for the moon, but I'm probably going to get this over here. So, but they know. I go in with charts and graphs and stuff, and they look at me. But I feel that they need to know what we're using in that budget. I've never exceeded anything in my budget, but it's a pretty scarce budget. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much to all of the candidates who were with us this evening. Christine Jones, I'll get that right. Catherine Wigington, also Randy Deans, Day Locklear, and also Dave Lewis and Maggie Sawyer. We appreciate that. The candidates for contested races in McCullough County. Early voting starts tomorrow and runs through the 27th. And then on the 3rd is the election, actually. And it's going to be a big election. It's a long ballot if you want to go in there and vote. So you need to get prepared. Think about it. And look at all that long list of judges and have some idea of what you're looking at. But we do appreciate it. Appreciate the audience being here this evening. It's been great to have you with us here this evening on KNEL TV, which we very much enjoy being able to do and feel sort of privileged to be able to make that happen, to have all of this shown for folks to be able to see it and see who the candidates are. We appreciate it and appreciate everybody being here and wish you the best this evening. I hope you have a good evening, and that'll wrap it up for this evening. And go vote tomorrow.